Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Assalamu alaikum, Azfar. Thank you so much for joining us. The purpose of this session today is to focus on the next decade. Because of coronavirus, no one is really talking about it. Everyone is sort of caught up in this urgent crisis scenario. But what we intend to do, and Azfar is kind enough to join us in this initiative, what we want to do is to create a sense of positivity, not a sense of false positivity, but a real positivity that this scenario of COVID-19 will come to an end soon, inshallah. And after that, we will all be faced with the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is that the world is rapidly changing. The next 10 years are going to be probably as big in terms of major changes in the world as the last 50 combined. So on this particular topic, Azfar has been kind enough to put together a talk for us. Azfar, over to you. All the best.
Okay, thanks, Ali and the team. Thank you for having me here. It's really a pleasure to speak to you all and all of you guys listening online. And I think it's a very, I would say, difficult time, different times. It's a time that is teaching us a lot of things, personally, professionally. So I think really as marketers, it's also a very, very important time for us because I think a lot of stuff is there for us to take it and to grasp it. Before going into the details of any of what I will be talking to you, I'll just introduce myself. And before that, I just wanted to share this quote with you guys. The quote is about, if this is your first crisis in life, welcome to the game. Because if you have from previous experiences, what you know is that we will come through this and we will come through this better. And I think what this COVID-19 is teaching us, definitely, I think for all of us, as I said, personally and professionally, we will be better human beings, better professionals. And we would really also know our consumers so much more as well as marketers. So this was said by someone who's a retired US Army official when he was addressing Deutsche Bank, but I'm not this person. My name is Azfar. I am the marketing director for General Mills Middle East and Africa business. I've been in the company General Mills for the last 4.5 years. I started my career with P&G, and you can see all the brands on the right side of the screen right now that I've worked on. I started my career with P&G. I then moved on to Reckitt Benckiser and have been in the Middle East for the last 13 years now. Took the opportunity with General Mills about 4.5 years back when I thought that, selling cakes would be much more fun versus selling toilet cleaners. And I moved over here and have been really enjoying thoroughly what we've been doing and really doing a lot of stuff in the region. And I don't know whether you guys know or not, but General Mills is definitely one of the best performing FMCGs here in the Middle East. But really, the life has changed rapidly and has changed dramatically over the last couple of months, starting when it started in Wuhan and then started coming over to our region, I think, in February. And we really saw the first glimpses in March, and April has been a complete lockdown. And what this has done has resulted in a massive behavioral change for us. The social distancing is really teaching us a lot of things that, the human interaction is so very important with friends, the family. And really, I think all of us are missing our offices as well. I think all the people never thought about that before and they wanted to go on holidays. But now I actually think there is an urge for everyone to go back to the offices and, meet everyone. Because guess what? We are social animals, and this COVID is teaching us that. The economic conditions have deteriorated big time. Schools and workplaces are closed. Restaurants are limited, if not closed. Out-of-home entertainment is cancelled. There are no sports matches. There are no outdoor concerts, entertainment. The whole Saudi 2030 vision, I think, which started, I think, has suddenly come to a halt because of that temporarily, but still, it's like nothing is happening. So everything really is changing, and I think a big factor of all of this will have on the food business. And I'm into the food business, so I would just talk to you about how the food habits are changing and what we are trying to do as General Mills and as marketing professionals to bring about some changes in the society during this time. And so this is basically, I think, the affordability has become a key currency right now, and I think people are really looking at things that are affordable, things which are basically essentials for them, also things that are giving them comfort. There are new things consumers are trying at home, and I think all of us have been trying our hands in the kitchen as well. So things that can give you joy, which can comfort you, which are easy to use. And at the end of the day, most important thing is the wellness and the safety aspect of it. So I think hygiene is becoming more and more important. Talking to some of my racket friends as well, these are like staggering numbers that they were telling me. um, the businesses are doing very, very well. um, so but one thing which I want every marketer to take away, and I'm addressing marketers here because I think it's a very important time for them, that if you look at the media consumption habits, and I've taken this number, literally latest number that came in like 2-3 days back from the US media surveys, the media consumption has actually gone up dramatically. Browsing has increased by 70%, traditional TV has gone up by 63%, social media engagement is up by 61%, which are huge numbers. And I think it's understood because people are at home, so they have more or less things to do, so they are going and exploring all of these social digital media avenues, and really being active on those. And I just wanted to, and then when Ali told me about a couple of days back, I was just doing some Googling, and I realized, I saw this article, and this is the extract from that article. And in these times, the brands really need to stay relevant. Why is that? Because if you see historically, whenever things have been difficult, and the brands that have not stayed relevant have actually lost. And we'll go all the way back to the 1920s in the cereal category. There was a category leader called the Post, and they significantly cut the ad spends during the Great Depression days, the post World War One era. And Kellogg's instead that time doubled the ad spend and introduced some NPDs, and the profits grew by 30%, and they were the category for the next 2 decades. So really just tells you that, why is it important to stay relevant during this time? Similarly is the case during the 1973 recession in the automotive industry. So Toyota increased the ad spend at a time when everybody was dropping theirs, and they became the top imported car maker in the US by 1976, in 3 years post the recession. Similarly, restaurant business, which by the way, right now has completely gone for a toss, and I'm managing some part of it in my company, and I can tell you it's a very difficult period for us on that. Um, so McDonald's dropped its advertising budget in '91 recession in the US, and Pizza Hut and Taco Bell completely took advantage of that. And you can see some staggering numbers over there. The Pizza Hut sales grew by 61%, Taco Bell by 40, and McDonald's by 28. And similarly in technology, during the recession times of 2009, Amazon actually was the one which grew. And I think still Amazon will keep on growing because of the digital presence. And we see all of these online portals, whether it is on grocery or whether it is on online consolidated portals, we are seeing the sales really go up. So I think they will keep on going up. But what is very important is that you need to stay relevant during these times. And during the same article, there was this thing that, somebody asked the Walmart founder that, what do you think about the recession? And he said that, I thought about it and then said, we'll not participate in this. And I think that's a very important thought that we as marketers need to be telling ourselves, that we need to be reigniting the categories, reigniting the brands we are working on. And really, this is the time where you really can find some sweet spots with your consumers and make a difference. Lastly, one important point was that really, if you see the social feeds right now, they have become literally like fair feeds. I think there's so much of negativity around. There's so much of bad news coming in. So very important that again, we as individuals, professionals, create positivity, create a comfort within our households and within the consumers' households. So what we have done on Betty Crocker, and I just took this as an example to showcase to everyone, you can go on our Betty Crocker platform, which is the Betty Crocker Arabia page, and you can see all those assets over there. And we said that this is a time where really the kitchen is for everyone. And this was told to us actually by a little boy about a few months back, when he tweeted us and told us that, our instructions were addressed primarily towards the females. And we changed then those instructions, completely addressing it to unisex, and in both males and females. In Arabic, it's very difficult to find a word to address to males or unisex, but we really did some work and were able to get that word there. And we realized that really, not only us, but across all, especially the food brands, they mostly addressed to the females and women. And that's the stereotyping that we have done in the society. So we came out with this campaign, which is called "The Kitchen is for Everyone." And I think right now I am cooking, to be frank, more than my wife in the kitchen. But really, that's a key game changer across societies, that we want to bring in. And I think this, during this era of COVID-19, we want to be the mom's ally. And that mom's ally starts with Betty, but also could be the husband, could be the children, could be family. So really, we want this kitchen to be for everyone, starting now. I have a small video to share with you. This basically just encapsulates what I was talking about, that what this campaign is about. And I'll tell you a couple of more things that we have done during this COVID-19 era to comfort our consumers. So please take a look at this video, and I will then share what we've done for COVID-19.
She's been trusted for over 100 years. Her recipes followed by millions of families. Until an 8-year-old boy named Sultan challenged her with a simple question. Social media exploded. We looked at over 100 products in our market and discovered Sultan was right. It was time to change the stereotype, because the kitchen is for everyone. Working with a linguistic expert, we created new cooking instructions.
We changed the baking instructions in a way to address both men and women.
The new instructions addressed all cooks, regardless of gender. But we didn't just change a few packs. We changed over 20 million of them, making each pack a symbol of change. Betty Crocker, like women all over the Middle East, had embraced change. We made Sultan the voice of our campaign.
شكرا بيتي كروكر يمكن سمعت كلامي غيرت الأبوة.
Hope you guys were able to hear the video. So this is our campaign that we are running right now. And under the same campaign, what we are saying is that, in these times, to be frank, when, my kids are baking, on myself, we bake, it's really the time for, a small happy moment, a joy. It really brings smiles to faces. So we as Betty Crocker are comforting our consumers with that thought, with that feeling. And we are amplifying everything which is there. Also, whereas baking is fun, it also teaches you a lot of things. Like, for example, when kids are at home, when they're baking, they have to measure stuff. There's like, specifically, it's like in a way a small science as well. And so we have created some things, to get more and more consumers to consume Betty Crocker at home. So these are some of the posts that we are putting in. I'll just showcase these as well. Yeah, and also we have actually changed the logo for the social distancing time period. So if you, I don't know how many of you are aware of that, Baiti in Arabic and means home. And everybody is at home, so we are encouraging the social distancing, and and we are saying that you can spread the joy from Baiti, and the logo that we have changed for this period. So we have done actually a lot of stuff, in terms of getting to our consumers during this period and telling them that, why is it uh, such a happy moment and such a learning moment for you when you bake it. And we are still continuing this, and you will see this on the online assets. You can really go and check our Betty Crocker Arabia page. You'll be able to get everything from there. Very importantly, it's a very important time for e-commerce. So we are being relevant on e-commerce as well. Some of the platforms you can see over there, and you can see that these are some of the pages where we are getting our products in. It's very important for brands to be present in these platforms. And we are really doing that right now, with also Ramadan approaching in the next couple of days. Lastly, we also have a brand called Nature Valley, and I think with all of us staying at home, one of the things with I have actually not been proud of is gaining all the weight that we have done, and that's all because of the mindless munching that keeps on happening every day. Just going around the house and grasping whatever kids are eating and taking a bite of that. So Nature Valley is our snacks brand, so something we have done on that. So I'll share this with you on Nature Valley. So Nature Valley, if you know, is a brand which is full of made like it has natural ingredients in it. It's really a brand which is a better for you snack for us. We have a different range of products over there, but giving the consumers this reasoning that stop this mindless munching and get a better snack for you. And I think again, trying to stay relevant, trying to make sure that consumers who are at home have you top of mind and getting you. I wanted to leave this webcast with one of the quotes that Muhammad Ali actually had, and I think it is a universal quote, whether it is these times or any other times. And it says that instead of a ring or out, nothing is wrong with going down. It's all right to go down, but what is wrong is staying down. So we have to all get up, and I think post-COVID, we will get up as better individuals, better professionals, better friends, better family members, and better human beings. So that is from my side that what I think that I foresee, and I would leave the forum to you, Ali, and the team for any questions or anything that you guys have. Thank you.
This was brilliant. Thank you so very much. While you were presenting, one of the things that was coming to my mind, and the rest of the team can also accordingly join in, agree or disagree. I've been having a lot of conversations with a lot of people about what is going to be the impact of this. As a small, medium enterprise entrepreneur, these sort of things tend to be what you focus on most of the time anyways. So one of the key learnings that popped out of all those discussions for me was that very few new things will actually happen during COVID and after COVID. What will happen is whatever direction the world was taking, it is just going to become faster. And that is what a lot of crises tend to do also. And when I see the initiative that you've taken for your brands, it's remarkable how true this insight is. Now, men cooking as much as women, or the kitchen increasingly becoming more and more important to the household. At the same time, eating out becoming a bigger trend, and healthier eating also becoming a trend. All of these were sort of running in parallel. And I see how suddenly you probably would not have done a campaign this aggressively on this topic this year, but in the next few years, you might have definitely done something to this effect. So Kitchen for Everyone, I remember the activation that we did for you at the beginning of the year was around the same thing. Anyone can bake. And I can see how the campaign evolved very quickly because of the COVID stuff. The second thing that I can see here is the push for integration, push for digital, and how you've clearly demonstrated that you can, depending on how you look at the situation, you can decide to either do something good about it or suffer from it. No one can disagree that this is hurting everyone. It is. But what we choose to do about it, yeah, there's a huge range of options available to us. So this is one insight that I was having and discussing with a few people. You've just confirmed it for me. So it's very inspiring to see that.
No, and thanks. It's good to hear from you guys as well, because we also are sitting in our capsules working. So it's a good perspective that you're saying. And I think very interesting you said in the beginning was that really there will be no new things per se. It is the same things, but just reiterating that how important were those. Like the basics of, if I go to the basics of marketing, which is like the product, the presence, the placement, the promotion, none of those piece changes, but just the way you are doing those changes, right? I think previously we were distributing it in the stores, and now it's online platforms that is becoming more important. Previously, TV was important. Now it is digital that is becoming more important, and more with this Netflixes of the world and Amazons of the world and coming on. So it's evolving over there, and it was evolving previously as well. But the speed at which it has evolved because of this situation that has arisen, I think it's drastic. And as you said, maybe we wouldn't have done it that aggressively if this thing hadn't happened. And I think it's a good idea that or a good feedback that really things stay the same. It's just maybe the quantum, the magnitude, or that changes.
Well said. Now, I'm going to ask you a tricky question. Okay.
Yes, please.
So I'm going to put you in the spot. So, but let's see how it goes. In the next 10 years, what is that one single trend that you think is going to be the most important, especially for marketers?
So I think, to be frank, I don't think there will be anything which will be different. But as we were discussing, maybe the quantum of that will change. So for example, media was always important, right? Digital was, we all knew, everybody was talking about digital. But I just think that the importance of it will just go many folds. Netflixes of the world, these media points of the world, this will become much more important when you talk about media, for example. One thing is, I think this COVID will make us better human beings. Personally speaking, I think we had become so engrossed as professionals and functional people and office goers. I think this COVID is teaching us that life is beyond everything besides that. So I think from marketing point of view, a lot of the consumer communication will revolve around those sweet stories, will revolve around the humane nature of the human beings versus being so functional, which we have always been as marketers. So I think a couple of things that just came to my mind. One is that media landscape will just become stronger and stronger for digital. And secondly, I think we as humans will become much more kinder. And I think the campaigns will revolve around that element of kindness into consumer campaigns.
Yeah, that's a very interesting perspective. And for those of you who know Azfar will agree with me, and those of you who don't, it's not a surprise that Azfar was the first gentleman who jumped to this opportunity that we had. He's been an optimist. And every time I interact with him, this pops out that he's, the belief in human goodness gets revived. And here, I think this is a very interesting thing you just mentioned. Very few people are actually looking at it like that. This is probably after a very long time, one crisis that has come to the world where everyone is in it equally. So whether it's the President of the United States or whether it's me sitting in my room, we have the same worries, and there is no enemy as such. So it's sort of uniting us in a way where we've never been united before. So I completely agree with you that whether we realize this or not, we are going to come out of this with a little bit more kindness in our hearts and a feeling of being maybe humility that, no matter who you are in the world, you can be affected by the same thing at the same time.
Absolutely. And I think I was listening to this FIFA chairman that day, and he was saying something interesting, that when the football starts, I think, all of these hooliganism and the things that are happening over there and the animosity which is there, I think you will see it will be a different ball game altogether. And that's a big thing because football, I think we all know, is like really the game in which a lot of aggression is there. And I think coming from that side, I think yeah.
Umar, this is a message for you. Umar is our biggest sports fan in our team.
I mean, maybe
Yeah.
for the first couple of months, but then they'll be back to their normal behavior.
Maybe it is like that. Maybe it is. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Umar
I
is
think
a realist. So, so, guys, if you have any more questions, great.
yes,
Otherwise,
please, guys.
we can.
No, thank you so much. Very comprehensively explained, and you were right, absolutely. The one thing that's really needed in this hour is positivity. And it's really great how relevant you are with your easy to use products and how relevant the insight is to further push this into different segments of consumers, be it males, be it people who have never stepped in the kitchen before, because you have the right to do so, given how enabling your products are. So yeah, thanks a lot for the comprehensive and detailed presentation. Really, uplifts us as well, understanding that there are brands that are caring so much about the human spirit out there.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And being the only female in this webcast, I'm going to thank you for the
For
whole
taking some
campaign. I love
responsibility
it.
away from.
I love it. I was getting fed up of targeting women constantly for everything. This is so refreshing to see.
Thanks, Amber. Thank you, guys. And I think it's always a pleasure talking to you guys. Let's hope things go back to normal and we do some campaigns together.
Yeah, looking forward to breaking another world record. You guys have the 100 years.
Yes, so we'll see. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Thank you so much again, Azfar, for your
Thank
time.
you.
It was absolutely.
Thank you so much. Same here.
Okay.
Likewise, guys. Thank you.
Bye bye. Assalamu alaikum.